It's going to have to come out every year. We say we're going to take it out this year, but we have not. But we did get to hold on to the blooms longer this year because we didn't have any windstorms. So it was actually a really pretty year just to watch them grow and develop. Let me see where I want to take you guys now. You'll see, if I back up a little bit without falling, there is a lemon cypress on each side of this bunch. Unfortunately, that's my garden fail. I'm not sure what happened to that one. Same conditions, both had fertilizer when we planted them. They were given to us by a friend that no longer wanted them. And so I was kind of bummed because for whatever reason, the one didn't make it. Over here again, we have more cosmias, and this is another one of the loves. No, this is Sexy Rexy. So this is she's called Sexy Rexy Rose, and she's got some blooms on it too. So I'm excited to see her open up. I don't know about you gardeners, but every day I come out here and to see just what is new in the garden, and just get so excited. This bed also was added last year. Let me back up. And I also love this one very much. It has roses flanking on the outside, which I'll show you in a second, followed by some echinacea, different colors, some red grass. I'm not sure what that one's called, or switchgrass. No, it's probably not switchgrass. I can't think of the name. Or carex, maybe that's what it is. And then I purchased seeds this year and grew tons of geraniums inside the house. These were probably about 4 times the size that they are now when I first planted them, but they didn't establish really great, but that's okay. Anyways, over here I also have some, I think they're amazing white daisies that are really, really pretty right there. Again, these are starts from last year of the autumn joy sedum that I just plopped in, and they're bigger this year, so that was kind of fun to do to save money on plants. This is another love song, and it is about ready to bloom that I'm really excited about. And again, I have a couple boxwoods in here. And you might be wondering why I have cages on some of my things out here. It's simply to keep the dogs from going potty on my plants. And that over there is a little Veronica that is trying to kick up. So I'm just trying to protect that as well. I have some English, I think it's English lavender right here, but it's really pretty. It's about ready to bloom. It smells amazing even when you just touch the stems. And I did try to take out some of the dead stuff in this one for whatever reason. And I have to tell you, my most favorite rose in my garden is this Plum Perfect. And this isn't going to do it justice right now because it looks almost like a red or burgundy, but it's going to be a purplish color. And as it fades, it turns into this really pretty color too. So it's got tons of buds on that. That love song, as I mentioned, has buds on it. And I actually started purchasing roses last year from, these 3 were from Heirloom Roses, which is probably my most favorite place to purchase roses. They were the biggest and the healthiest. But my bonus daughter is getting married on July 5th. And so last year I purchased these hoping she'd want to use them in her garden, but she's going to go with more natural flowers like wildflowers. This one is a silver something, and I can't remember the name, but it's pretty as well. The only thing I don't like about this, and that would be the same would be true for white roses, because we get the rain, it kind of will color the petals a little bit. And I did purchase some Majuga this year, and I talked about this in my April and May garden about the issue we have with slugs. It is just what it is. But my hopes is that eventually these will take off and get pretty big. You'll see copper around some of them to try to help. Slug bait, filbert shells. We're trying all the things to try to help. That's a pretty little green arborvitae that we purchased last year as well. And then we've got the bench flanking in between the dead. My husband came up with a good idea yesterday. He said, why don't we just spray paint that a lime green to match? And I didn't think that was a bad idea at all. Now, the one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is this is a new garden project that my husband did. So the same reels that he uses to make the moongate arbors, he made this and put some metal on the inside. And so that is going to be amazing. It's got tons of wildflowers in the center, which you can see all the baby seedlings, flanked by wave petunias, some potato vine, and some silver decandra falls that should trail down, so I'm excited. And then some other things that I have in there that should trail. That bench is coming out. My husband hates it. It's not very stable or sturdy, so he is going to build me, I'm hoping maybe today, a bench that is going to go permanent, similar to the other benches that you saw like over by the birdhouse. And then I'll show you another one that he has designed, more of a permanent structure, because this is going to stay. One of our other projects that we completed this last week and a half was we added, it's a bigger gravel. It was supposed to be 1/2 inch gravel, because that's all we could find this go around, but it is actually really big chunks, but that's okay. It's actually pretty easy to walk, but this was a pretty steep incline, so we have a lot here to try to make it a little bit easier when I'm walking out here. And this bed is brand new. We did this in the last 2 weeks as well. So let me come back a little bit and explain this. So if you're looking down here, let me go this way. So this bed starting about right here is also new. We did this one last year, and then we wanted to extend it down, so we added another 12 feet to our bed, and so I'm really excited. So this is all new plantings, and I just have some cute little calibrachoa. Oh, here's me with my messed up names: calibrachoa and dianthus, as well as autumn joy. And I did buy a few more grasses in here. And then in the back, I have a bunch of zinnias that are just starting to pop their heads up. Again, we're supposed to get some nicer weather for us tomorrow, so that'll help kind of kick in the speed to get them looking like that bed right there. And then I just have some pots. I have two, you've seen these black pots in the other 2 videos in a different location, and I move things quite a bit. Originally, I was going to have my husband build the arbor to go right around here, but because of this would be straight on, it didn't look right. So I'll show you where we installed the last one, which again was in the last 2 weeks. So if I come this way, I wanted to give you a quick little view of, sorry if I'm making you dizzy, of this bed. I just love it. It's like a half circle that we did. And then if you go this way, you can see all the new changes that we did recently. And it's so pretty. And then if I come back, I did want to show you guys this arbor. This is the newest one that he recently did. And I'm not going to go back too far, but again, this next year I'll plant some clematis, or Cecile Brunner, I think, can go in part shade. I'll find a rose maybe that can go there, and that'll be really pretty as well. One of my most favorite maples that I didn't mention when we were over here earlier is this one right here. And I cannot remember the name, but when it starts out, it's like this really bright pink. It's just so pretty. And then as the season goes, right now it's like a deep burgundy, and the leaves are just so pretty. But then it's going to turn bright pink again in the fall, like almost a fire pink. It's really crazy how pretty that is. And so again, here's the view in here. So pretty. And if I come to this side over here, another big boulder right down below me. This is another arbor my husband designed, and I thought this would sell really quickly. It has not, but it actually spins, and that bell, anytime there's a little bit of wind, it sounds incredible. So you can change how you want the look. If you don't want a full circle, you can push them in and have another type of look. You could also, instead of doing a bell, you could hang a big planter right down the center, and that would also be very pretty. And this bed, this is one of our beds that was here too. So this bed, basically all the outlining beds were here over the last 5 years. Again, it has some hostas in the shadier areas, and I planted again some. This one my husband bought last year. Again, I think this was clearance at Freddy's. He bought me 2 hydrangeas, and they're doing pretty well. I wish things grew a little bit faster, but that's a-okay. Over here I have another Cecile Brunner that I just purchased, and it too is starting to turn silver. So I don't know if that is just because of the weather or not, but it does have green leaves on it too, so I'm hoping it will kick up. They're pretty aggressive roses when they get going, so it's going to eventually trail over this half moon gate arbor that you'll see in just a second. We usually grow veggies in our garden, but this year we are mixing it up. We're not really great at growing tomatoes. I don't think we get enough heat, or peppers. So for me anyways, at least out in this area, it might be just the because of the trees and stuff too. But we have a lot of different perennials out here. So if we look down here, I've got some salvia that I purchased at Walmart. They're doing great. And then I grew a bunch of giant agastaki, and they smell amazing, and they kind of remind me of a combination between root beer, don't laugh, root beer and licorice. So the smell is amazing. And then again, you'll see my slug attempts. These are 2 new salvias that I purchased from Romance Gardens and Heirloom Roses. They're probably my most favorite places to purchase my perennials. They do really well. Again, I'm going to show you too. And then I plop in hens and chicks whenever I can just to get more plants because I love them. This right here is just a lamb's ear that I grew by seed and planted them out, and they're doing really well. So I'm hoping to get some starts and put those other areas. There's lots of zinnia seeds that are popping up. In fact, yesterday was a nice warm day here on the Oregon coast, so they are starting to make their appearance by coming up. Again, here's more of that coral sedum that I don't even remember planting this, but it is just taking off. And another spontaneous fern that is just growing. This is a knockout red rose that my husband also bought me that was on clearance at Freddy's last year, the same time when he bought those hydrangeas. And it's about ready to take off as well. I have a Veronica. Yes, I have lots of copper out there again. The copper does work, especially the first year. But then after that, it's okay. It doesn't really do what we need to for the slugs. Again, I have some big rocks out there. Here's more of my spontaneous foxglove that, again, we didn't plant. They just grew, so I just let them go. These are more different types of salvia that I've purchased, and I have so many varieties I don't remember, but they're going to take off and do really well. This is a really pretty lavender or pinkish. I think this is back to the fuchsia one right here. Again, I did plant a bunch of different types of daisies that should do well. And then I grew some salvia also by seed that not big this year, but I'm hoping by next year it will do great. This is lemon balm. This was part of our herb garden last year. It is huge. I didn't realize it was going to take off quite like it has, but that's okay. It smells amazing. And it does have some great healing proprieties in it as well if you make tea and stuff. Oh, and then here is the back bed. It's just flanked with a little... this was on another arbor, but I moved it because I need to have it a little bit lower to water, so I did put it here. This has a ton of cosmos in here that you can see all the little seedlings. It's going to be beautiful once those get going as well. I bought 4 new peonies this year from Breck's, and they were just the roots, so they're going to take a couple years to get started, but that's a-okay. And then I planted up these little milk pots last spring, and they're still doing very well. I might need to take out some of that coral though. And then my husband built more of these, well, not more, he built me these little wooden boxes that are just so pretty, and they are starting to really take off. I put in some granule fertilizer, as well as yesterday I walked around and spent about an hour doing liquid fertilizer on most of my plants and beds. This is another autumn, not an autumn joy, but another sedum, and the color is a little bit different than some of my other ones. And then I have little boxwoods in each one of them that I just kind of mounded off to spheres. Again, you're going to see some heuchera that I pulled out. And then last year I grew that echinacea by seed. So I'm hoping this year it will bloom. And the reason why it's up here is because of the slugs. There's no slugs in here yet. It also has a bunch of zinnia seeds that I can't wait till they come up. If you did watch my April and May garden, you saw my geraniums that I grew from seed. They were almost dead, but there's like one green leaf. They're all starting to kick up and do well now, so they should be fine. And then I did try to grow silver Decanter Falls. That's my version. It's not looking super hot right now, but hopefully it will. And then I have some really pretty coral peach colored geraniums in each one of these. And then I also have this little sedum that I think is just so sweet. And there's a bunch of wave petunias, and then again my hardy geraniums that I love. So these little beds are going to take off and just be beautiful by midsummer for sure. Again, I have more of my tall agastaki, the salvia over here, some little dianthus in there as well. And some of these plants that I purchased, there was one vendor I was kind of disappointed with. They didn't look healthy when I purchased them at all. But this is another sedum that I love. Look how pretty that is with the raindrops on it. And I have some more herbs in here. I think this is a sage, and I use it quite a bit for cooking. I made an amazing pasta the other day that was so good. And another sedum Again, this was from the same vendor. It looks better than it did when I first purchased it, but it didn't look great when I bought it, and I was kind of bummed. This bed, same concept and same design and same elements that are in here. With the exception, I bought this little thyme, and I popped that in there just because I thought it was a good little place to keep it. Well, look at that. We do have one foxglove that is blooming, so that's kind of exciting. And this bed has lots of different salvias as well. That should be pretty, more liatris. And then I don't know if you've ever grown borage. Borage is a pollinator for sure. It's got these really pretty bluish purple, and I think I have some white versions as well. But it does reseed itself, so if you don't want them, you need to pull them out. Otherwise, they will kind of take over your beds. I pulled out quite a few. And then I also have some zinnias in here as well. And then I have some lavender that's so pretty. And I did try growing. This is going to be a scabosa. It's not looking great, but it is doing better than it was. So I'm hoping eventually it'll kick off and do well, and followed by more lamb's ear that I grew from seed. And I showed you that bed. That's the same kind of concept. If I kind of give you a bigger view now, you can see on the inside, we've got this flanked by lights. That's why those poles are there. My husband wants to pull them out at some point, which we probably will do. And then if we come back this way, I need to center that up a little bit, but this is another new arbor that my husband designed. We actually painted this one black, and I like it, but I think we really prefer the rust, the natural rust that they provide, color versus painting them. My husband did a great big 10-foot one for my bonus daughter's wedding this summer as well. And then if I come back over to this way, let's do a quick, oh, this is the other bench my husband wants to get rid of. They're just not very sturdy. There's the view of our garden. So no veggies, just flowers and some herbs. And then if I come back here, my dahlias are doing pretty well, although I've had some major issues with slugs, but they are popping up, and hopefully, and I did put cages around them this year, hoping it'll help stake them so they don't fall over, because they get pretty tall back here. And then I also planted some Veronica. I have, if you talk to me, Veronica's the way to go. And you'll notice the slugs, I don't have any slug bait around these. They don't really care. This one is a first glory. And I think I have a love song out here too. Oh, this is another first glory. So those are here. And then another 2 sunjoys that are over here as well as that hydrangea right there that I did just put in some iron tone. For whatever reason, that one is yellow. It's not looking as healthy. And I purchased 2 roses at Bi-Mart. I don't know if you know, if you have a Bi-Mart in your area, but I have this yellow rose. It's not super healthy, so I'm not sure if it's not getting enough sunlight, but I'm going to leave it here this year. And if I need to, I'll move it next spring. And there's another one back there that is a pink one that I purchased on clearance. And again, you're going to see lots of filbert shells. So, my friends, that's pretty much it. I've got 2 different honeysuckles. I will show you this. It kind of reminds me of the Ghost Kinsley version, but it's not. It doesn't get silver, but it has the same leaf. It looks like a, oh, what does that look like? Well, it reminds me of like a lily pad. This smells amazing. And then followed by another honeysuckle that gets little pink flowers. That smells amazing. And then what's really pretty is it gets these berries at the end after it's done blooming. That just looks really, really pretty. I'm going to take you around the front. We are almost done, you guys, but look how beautiful that is. Again, you can see I'm using the spireas in my pots. Here's another example of one of my husband's benches. I love the ones that are permanent, so you always have a place to sit when you're out here. And again, I have lots of seating areas because I like to see the garden from different vantage points, so you can see what's growing and doing well. Isn't that just beautiful? Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to take you guys around. I don't edit my videos. I'm not a pro, so I'm just a gardener that wants to share. So don't mind the truck. But I wanted to take you guys over to this area. This is our front bed. This used to be an old deck that used to be here, and it was it had seen definitely better days. So we removed the deck that went all the way down to the end of the house, and we put this bed in. This bed was the very first bed that we designed when we got together. And I remember thinking, wow, this is like amazing, because I was so excited to plant something. Nothing back here. So if I go back this way, nothing was here. It was all grass. So within, most of it was done this last year, but otherwise those outlying beds, so this one and then this and then the one going back, most of it was done like within the second or no, probably the third year that we were together. So again, if I come back this way, this bed, boy, what a transformation. I forgot to mention in the back bed out towards the fencing, we have a weeping pussy willow that I purchased, and this one is doing phenomenal. So I'm hoping eventually that's what it will look like. You can't see it now, but it's got the coolest structure, even in the winter months. So it's just a really pretty structure for all year. So you have interest in color and, you know, visual interest out here. This bed is full. In fact, I always forget how full it is, and then I plant more stuff early spring because I think, oh, this bed is empty. But I have a bunch of arborvitaes that have seen better days, primarily because my dogs keep wee-weeing on them. And one thing I haven't mentioned is I don't have anything on drip. I am the water girl. I water a couple hours a week, whether that's once or twice a week, but not every day unless it's super hot, then I will. Back there is a little Kim. Yep, it's actually got some blossoms on it, but it's probably hard to see. Little Kim lilac bush, and then I have another lilac bush over on the other side that I'll show you. And then I have some crocosmias back there as well. Lots of daylilies. There's one that's in there, if you can kind of see it, that has bloomed, but daylilies, the only downside is they do only bloom for a day. More geraniums, and I have quite a few different versions out here as well. Again, you're going to see my coral bells and my sedums that I try to grow on the outside just for color and interest around those rocks, hens and chicks. And then if I come back over to this way, I have a burning bush. This bed is so full. I have a burning bush that I planted this year right there. That'll be really pretty color and structure late summer. And then that lilac bush right here, right there, is going to be beautiful. It's got a really pretty stem architecture to it, so I can't wait till that grows up. I have some spider plant or spiderwort that looks really pretty. And then this is wild iris that we dug up from our woods right behind our house. And it is living its best life. It is so pretty. And we have planted this in different areas in our property. I'll give you a quick front deck tour, and then I'm going to call it for today. A little bird bath there. And don't mind, my husband went fishing, so he's got a big cooler out here, but this is a big pretty pot. This pot has some daisies, and I think this is wisteria. I dug it out when I planted these guys, but apparently I did not get all of them. And here is our problem here on the Oregon coast. Let me see if you guys can see that. There's one of our slugs. They're mostly babies because I come out and pick them every day off my plants. Oh, there's a big one. I will take care of those. Let me see. Why can't I get it zoomed in? Anyways, there's a big slug in there. But it's got Veronica and some daisies in there that are going to be really pretty. But slugs love your daisies. Ooh. So now we're on the deck. And these are these two big pots right here. Oops, I apologize if I'm making you dizzy. Oops, and you don't want to see me. And then this one right here, they have two knockout red roses. And I cannot remember where I purchased these. They're not the healthiest rose, unfortunately. They have some disease, and every year, last year was my first year, it was so bad I ended up cutting it back pretty much after it was done blooming. I may have to do the same, but it's got so many buds on it right now. When this blooms, it is crazy. It's going to be really pretty, but again, as I mentioned, it's going to have, you can see how much more disease this one is. And these are standard double knockout red roses. And I wish I would have gotten the pink instead of that color. Again, here's the view this way. That truck wasn't there. You can see the whole view. I love looking out in the kitchen window. And then these little pots right here, black pots, I just have a bunch of wave petunias, a boxwood, and some geraniums, as well as my wire vine. That's a consistent component in my big pots, as you can see right here. And they are evergreens, or not evergreens, but they are a perennial in my area. And this is a Japanese maple that I planted here primarily to hide that ugly meter box. These pots, I don't know what to do. They don't get very much. There's my little dog right there wanting out. they don't get very much sunlight, so they're not super happy. I would have expected them to be bigger, but they do also have one of my geraniums in there that I planted. So these pots were redone this year. Hi, little Malaya. Do you want to come out with Mama? And then same thing over here. And then I have just a nice, this is another different type of boxwood. And I just put that little corner shelf there just for fun. And then you can see my geraniums, more geraniums that I grew from seed. Again, I wish there was a little bit more sunlight for them, but that is okay. My favorite area on this deck is this window box that John built me this springtime. It's just really, really pretty. And one thing that I've learned as a gardener, I used to think you had to have flowers for color. You do not. You can plant different colored little shrubs like my lemon cypress. There's boxwoods, little dwarf ones in the back. You can't see because my geraniums are covering it. But even the wire vine, look how pretty that is. It's just one of my favorites. And then John built me this block box down here primarily to help when this gets watered. It will water down here and not ruin my deck or ruin our deck. So, and this has some phlox that is just about done. More geraniums that I planted, sedum that I popped in there. And so that's really it. If I come back this way, that is our view of our front deck and our front flower bed. And that, you guys, concludes today's end of May garden tour. Thank you for spending your time with me. I apologize if my walkabout made you a little dizzy. I'll try to get better at that. If you haven't liked or subscribed or done any comments, please do so, because I am trying to get my content out there. Primarily because I want other gardeners to have other resources like myself. I'm a garden YouTube fan and I watch tons of the videos myself. So the only way I'm going to get my videos out there is if you do that for me. So thank you guys. Have a good Memorial Day. Again, thank you to all those who have served or are still currently serving. We appreciate you. We see you and just want to say thank you so much for your service. Have a great one, you guys. Take care and enjoy your day with your families. Bye.